What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction, and in this video we have safety in Poland. How safe is Poland? We learned from history past it hasn't been the safest, but today I think I saw a recent video that said crimes and everything were down, so we're gonna see if I remember that correctly or not. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button, give a video a thumbs up. Let's see how safe it is.
In this week's episode of A Britain Poland, maybe I'm getting slightly political. I've been watching a lot of news about the UK lately, which is perhaps not the healthiest thing. And I wanted to maybe not quite do a comparison, but certainly talk about safety in Poland. Now, there's a lot of, let's say, rumors or stereotypes about Polish people, about living in Poland. A lot of interesting things in the history. But what I want to do with this video is kind of present a bit of a balanced view, to talk about some of the statistics about the safety in Poland, to talk about perhaps some of the reasons why Poland is considered to be a safe country, and also to offer a bit of a balanced view in some of the areas where maybe it's not so safe, maybe there are some watch-outs. So please stay tuned. After 7 years in this country, I hope I can give you a bit of a comprehensive overview of what the real view of safety is here.
Okay.
Dzień dobry, and welcome to A Brit in Poland. This channel is going to bring you everything you need to know about Poland. I am exploring the country, bringing you the history, trying to tell you about the culture, and show you what it is really like to live here. So feel free to check out my other media, Instagram, Facebook, and I will share links to those in the comments. I also have a website, www.britinpoland.com.
That's so cool.
Where I collate my videos for easy to view manner. Also,
so cool.
You are welcome to contribute to my efforts through Patreon or Patreon, and all descriptions are available below the video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please come back for more by subscribing, liking, or commenting. Thank you very much. Do zobaczenia.
Cold, hard facts. Let's see what we got from the Brit in Poland.
I wanted to start the video by talking a little bit about, let's say, the history of Poland and the recent changes that have happened to the country, and to present you some of the statistics that I've been able to gather online that actually prove the status of safety in this country. And I do this in front of the Supreme Court because it seems like a relevant place.
That's cool.
So, Poland, of course, has a history of oppression and occupation. It was wiped off the map for 130 years, primarily by, say, the Russian Empire. Let's say Poland's neighbors have not been kind to her over the course of history.
Unfortunately.
Poland had independence, you could say, between World War I and II. But we all know that was short-lived.
Yes.
And after World War II, it was, let's say, a kind of slave under the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So Polish people know all about oppression, we can say.
Yeah.
After the Soviet Union, the country was reborn.
Yeah, they were.
But you could say it faced some growing pains. So when it finally, I believe it was 1989, when Poland became properly independent again.
I think what's so cool, and I'm sorry to interrupt right here because it's kind of nothing to do with this video in particular, but I think what's so cool is just from like these YouTube videos, I feel like I get to learn so much. Like that short history of Poland, everything that he said, the fact that I already knew all of that is that, like, I think that's absolutely fascinating. Like, I don't know, learning fascinates me and I enjoy it. That's all I wanted to say. That's really cool.
It had to build its own government. It had to get its own police services back in order. And there was a period of friction. So I remember before I moved here, one of my work colleagues, who I think had some Polish ancestry, warned me very much about the gangs of Poland. Two famous gangs were the Pruszków and Wołomin gangs, and these are actually quite local to Warsaw. And they had a rather large criminal
Really?
syndicate. They did a lot of car thievery and stuff like that. And they were kind of a scourge on the safety of Poland.
Yes.
However, there were some big initiatives to pretty much wipe out these gangs. They may still exist in certain respects. I have a friend who was actually married to somebody who has connections to, let's say, the modern day gangs. And
Hold
yeah, I
up.
say gangs, I mean Polish mafia. So that was a big stain on the country. And you could
Yeah.
say that in the 90s, particularly, Poland was a lot less safe than it is today.
Got you.
In fact, since 1999, the homicide rate in Poland has fallen by 50% and is now one of
Yeah.
the lowest in the world, at about 0.6 people per 100,000. It stands pretty much
Wow.
in contrast with similar European countries. So
Yeah.
maybe it's not
That's
safer in that regard,
very
but
low.
it feels it. Poland has not had a single terrorist attack. You know, you can actually say 0 terrorist attacks have occurred in Poland in the modern era, which you cannot say
Dang.
about many of its neighbors, and
Facts.
certainly my own home country.
And what's crazy is that, from what I've seen in recent videos, also that Poland is very welcoming to like immigrants coming over to Poland, and they open their doors and everything. And so what's crazy is I feel like a lot of these places that have immigration, they say like, I guess the bad people sneak in with the good, and so they have these issues and they worry about terrorism and everything. But the fact that Poland has had 0 terrorist attacks, while I believe, from what I've heard in the video, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. You guys are very open to refugees coming in and seeking asylum in Poland. So again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a very interesting fact.
So I'm going to talk about some of the statistics. In terms of sexual violence, there is about 8 per 100,000 people are affected by this. We're talking like the broad scope of sexual violence, not just rape, which is much lower.
Wow,
If you compare that
that's
to
very
the
low.
average in Europe, the average in Europe is about 50 per 100,000. So you can say that
That's so
Poland has a
sad, but
much lower
AF. Shout
rate
out
there, and
Poland,
this is one
man.
of the reasons that women in particular are very safe in this country. When it comes to theft, Poland has about 280 cases per 100,000 people
Okay.
versus the European average of 1,300 cases per 100,000 people. It is placed at number 32 on the Global Peace Index,
Okay.
though for some reason it's behind Germany, and I refuse to believe that Germany is a safer country than Poland. It is ahead of the UK, at least they got something right.
At
And
least they
on
got something
average,
right.
about 9 out of 10 people in Poland would say that they feel safe.
So
And when it
90% of
comes
the
to the
country.
crimes they're worried about, it is more small theft, burglary, those kinds of things. You don't get people who are worried so much about rape, who are worried
Yeah.
about being murdered or assaulted on the streets.
Well, yeah, with only 1.5 out of every 100,000 people having to deal with rape, and only less than one person for every 100,000 people, the homicide rate, you don't have to worry about these things, and I think that's truly incredible. Shout out Poland for being so safe. Sheesh, I didn't know y'all was that safe. I truly didn't know it was that safe. That's incredible.
So those are some of the statistics, and I hope they paint a pretty good picture of the level of safety that you find here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on and explain why I think this is the case in Poland over the next course of the video. And then I'm going to add my personal thoughts at the end,
Okay.
just to try and give a balanced view.
Why is Poland safe? Let's figure this out.
So After hearing about the statistics behind crime in Poland, you might be asking yourself, why is Poland different to a lot of other Western European countries?
Yeah.
What is it that makes it a safer place to live? And I've been thinking a lot about this question, trying to do a lot of research on this question. And it's not a simple answer. I think with this question, as I said in one of my other videos, you have to think about the people in Poland, because it is the people that make a country safe.
Yes.
So what is it that's different about Polish people? So we talked a little bit about the history of this country, how it's one that's had to fight for its freedom, that it knows about oppression. It knows what it's like to have your rights taken away and to be treated like nothing, to be erased from the
Yes.
surface of the earth.
Yes.
And I think this helps to still a kind of nationalistic pride in the country. Now, there are some people that say nationalism is a dirty word, that it's a
Crazy.
horrific thing. Why should
No.
people be nationalists? Nationalists are racist. Nationalists are evil people.
No.
But I don't think that's true.
Me neither.
The thing is, Polish people are, on the whole, proud of their country. They may complain. They may
We
have
all
a
do.
lot to say that they are not proud of in Poland. But when they look at
Nothing's
Polish history
perfect.
and they look at what has survived,
Y-
they are proud.
Should
So you
be.
could say there is a certain level of tradition behind this country, which is what is shaping the people. You have, even though Poland is becoming, let's say, less religious with time, you do have this strong religious history, strong connection with Christianity.
And I would say I don't see any kind of problems with nationalism either. I think it's just fine to be proud of where you come from, to be proud of your country. I think where a lot of people mix nationalism in with thinking that you're better than others, and that's where issues come in. Nothing wrong with being proud of your country, but I think there is an issue when you think, "Oh, I'm from here, and we're so much better than you, and we're so much better than your country." That's when it becomes okay. Now, like you're looking down upon people, and that I absolutely see a problem with. But I agree with Paul. Like nothing wrong being proud of your country. Of course, you're gonna complain. Everybody has complaints because nothing is perfect. So you were always gonna find something wrong. It's human nature. Um, and of course, there are problems in each and every country that you have to complain about. Um, but don't let those problems take away from you being proud of where you come from. Unless I, no. Well, I'm proud. Like, I come from the U.S., and I'm proud. We have a lot of issues. We got a lot of problems that need fixing. But at the end of the day, I do still love this country, even though I see all the problems that we have.
I mean, next to the Vatican and Ireland, you could say Poland is one of the most Catholic countries in the world.
Okay.
And so you definitely have these Christian values that are deep within the culture. And they're something that are upheld, even on a kind of governmental level, you can say.
Huh.
And I think that's something that does contribute. There are a lot of people, a lot of atheists out there who say that religion does nothing good. I think Poland is the example of where that's not true. Of course,
Love
there
that.
are examples of where religion doesn't do the right thing in this country, but we're not here to debate that. So, talking more about the people, I asked some of the girls here, because one of the big things is, women feel safe to walk at night on their own through some quiet park or in some
That's
quiet
amazing.
street,
That is
and
amazing.
why they feel that way. So obviously, some of the answers are, well, because they've never had anything bad happen to them. Generally, they've been treated well. But the other answer they gave was rather interesting. And it talks about this social ethos within the culture. So they talked about white knights specifically. So basically, they have a feeling that if somebody was to attack them, that there would be people nearby who would step in and help them,
Love that.
who would be their guardians. And I think that's something special, because I think a lot of people in the UK, for example, they see something happening and they're afraid, they turn away, and they pretend it's not
Yep.
happening.
Yep.
There were instances during, say, some of the London terrorist attacks where one Polish guy attacked a machete-wielding Islamic with a narwhal tusk that he took from his restaurant.
Oh my
There was a
God.
video I saw about some belligerent young guy on a train who these Polish people confronted and then threw off the train for harassing another customer. You know, there is this example in culture of Polish people stepping in and
That's
making sure
incredible.
that there is order around them.
That's
So I
truly
think that's
awesome.
another factor. One issue I faced a lot in the UK were, let's say, teenagers, gangs of youths who would just hang around in quiet areas, car parks or street corners, and they would harass people. They would like scream at you, they would yell abuse. If you looked at them, they would probably start a fight.
Crazy.
And I've never
I
seen
don't know
anything
what be
like that in
wrong with
Poland. So I
kids.
was asking why I don't see that here. And I think that's probably a more complicated thing, and I'd love your views in the comments. But I think children are kind of taught respect a bit better here. I think there are an array of like after school activities that are open to children. So, for example, you know, they're not free, but you can pay a small amount and they can play football, they can do arts and crafts.
Yeah.
There is this kind of community behind children to make sure that they're not bored and they're not sat around with nothing to do.
I feel that.
So
And
I think
that's where
that
issues come in is when kids get sat around with nothing to do. And don't get me wrong, sometimes kids just be bad, whether that be due to how they're raised, whether that be due to the environment that they're in, well, whatever situation. Sometimes kids just bad. Sometimes they just bad. But I do feel like giving them something to do, that giving them a task to accomplish, something that they can be proud of, right? It definitely reduces the risk of them being disrespectful, of gangs, of violence, of these things. I also like the answer when he says the girls feel like they can walk safely on the street at night. They don't have to worry about things. One, because, I mean, we saw the statistics in the first place. You're not really even ever getting attacked or anything's ever really happening in the first place. But two, in case the rare occurrence happened and someone was to harass you or anything like that, there's like white knights in Poland where they believe in a sense of community and standing up for each other. And so if they see someone getting harassed or if they see someone getting bullied, beat up, anything like that, it sounds to me like other Polish people are willing to step in and help in those situations and not just turn away, turn a blind eye to it. No, they're willing to confront the harasser, the attacker, whoever it may be, and they're willing to help in those situations. So I think that's just an absolutely beautiful thing, especially when it comes to safety. So, I mean, when someone thinks about being violent, if someone thinks about harassing someone, knowing that you have to deal with that definitely would prevent you a lot more than knowing that if you do something to somebody, other people are going to turn a blind eye.
that's another thing, you know, that there is this kind of element that people are looked after.
Hmm.
I think that the crime and punishment in Poland is quite strict. There are a lot of people who are afraid to even cross the street unless there's a green light because of being fined. There are severe fines on people who even ride a bike while intoxicated, let alone driving a car.
Dang. I respect
And you
that.
see police presence, you know, and these police are armed. You know, that's something you can't say in the UK, that you can just walk down the street and see police everywhere.
Hmm.
And definitely there is a strong sense that there is a very tough stance against drugs, though drugs, of course, like most countries, is a problem here. Very harsh sentences for people who in possession or, you know, especially for dealing. So there's that level as well. And then finally, another point that I read that seemed particularly relevant is social economics. So the unemployment rate in Poland is pretty low and the quality of living is very high. So you don't have a lot
Well,
of
that's
people, let's say,
beautiful.
turning to crime because of financial problems. People generally can afford to eat. You know, they can have vodka if they want to drink. And especially in a place like Warsaw, you have a booming tech industry. And
Really?
Poland is growing from strength to strength in terms of its economy. So there are probably more reasons why Poland is as safe as it is, but I'd say those are some of the main ones. I welcome you to contribute more in the comments.
That was definitely cool. So he went through a list of reasons why he thinks Poland is more safe than other countries. And I mean, when you got the statistics, the numbers tell you Poland is a lot more safe than any other countries, not only in Europe but in the world. And he listed reasons on why he thinks that. One being the white knight, the community, the white knights, the community that comes together and is willing to help everyone in need. Another being right, cops are everywhere, and these police are armed. And so that's definitely a deterrent to crime happening in the country. And then another one being social economics, right? A low unemployment rate with the low cost of living is absolutely beautiful. So everyone's living a decent quality of life. So it's not like you can't afford to eat or, you know what I'm saying? So you have to go and steal or you have to go and commit crime to be able to feed your family. It's not like that. And so those are all three incredible reasons to help make a country more safe. I'm glad that he's kind of pointing this out. This is dope. Oh, and now we get to hear about immigration. We'll see if I was right in the beginning of the video.
So another important aspect, which I meant to mention in the last bit, is a bit controversial, but I think it's important to mention it. And one of the reasons that Poland, well, at least Polish people, will tell you, you make up your own mind, that the country is so safe is the stance on immigration.
What is the stance?
So there are many countries, many parliaments, many news outlets that would label, you know, the Polish government as like a racist organization. I think they're doing too much demonization there, as a lot of these politicians and media outlets do. When somebody disagrees with them, let's call them words. So Poland actually has a very strict immigration policy,
Okay.
which
So I was wrong about the immigration. I apologize about that. Have my facts mixed up. I think just in the recent video I had heard that they had welcomed in so much like Ukraine citizens when Ukraine was invaded by Russia, and so I assumed that they like welcomed like immigration with open arms and everything, and not such a strict policy. But I was wrong. I apologize for being wrong. I mess up, and so thank you for explaining it to me, Brit in Poland.
I think is a sensible one. They basically have zero tolerance of illegal immigration in this country. And even though Poland is perhaps less of a recipient of illegal immigration than, you know, say Spain or the UK or, you know, countries like that, of course, there are people who will try and cross into Poland's borders.
Of course.
The biggest issue facing the country is on their border with Belarus. So particularly in places like Białowieża, they have had to build basically a big wall. So Trump style, they built a wall that spans like the border with Belarus. And the story there is you have a lot of migrants from, say, North Africa who are going via Turkey and being ferried over by Russia, and even the Belarusian government are aiding them to the Polish border in an attempt to flood Europe with immigrants. This is
of course
one of those reports, whether you believe it or not. I personally think it's true from what the sources I've seen. So Poland does have this very strict law, and they do police it very heavily against illegal immigration. So the primary routes into this country are through work, so work visa or a student visa. Of course, there must be other ways to be granted residency here, but those are the primary routes that most people will take. And so Polish people will say that because there is a more homogenous society here, people who share similar cultural values, people with, you know, perhaps similar backgrounds, that is something that aids the, let's say, harmony of life. It's not to say that Poland doesn't take in immigrants. So I know a lot of people, hundreds of people from other countries who live here in Warsaw. You know, with booming tech sectors and the such, there are skill shortages that need to be filled, students who want to study here. So Poland certainly has its fair share of immigration here. And also, when you consider what's been happening in Ukraine, Poland has been one of the largest recipients of refugees from that country. So they have literally taken
That's what I
millions
thought.
of
See?
Ukrainians across the border.
So I guess just a very strict stance on illegal immigration. But yeah, like I said, I thought that they had taken a very large amount of Ukraine refugees across the border. And so the reason I guess the strict stance, or I guess the reason for the wall on Belarus is because Russia, it sounds like they were trying to flood Europe with immigration. So Poland had to build a wall on their border with Belarus, which is completely understandable if that's Russia's plan to flood them with immigration, to flood, I guess, make it harder on the states to be able to support the citizens. But they have taken in many Ukraine refugees and opened their doors or opened their arms to them. And strict immigration policy that's policed very hard. When it comes to immigration, I feel like the stance I'm not sure where I sit on it due to reasons because I understand both sides, but I don't know enough details about immigration as to where I'm like all for like if someone's looking for a better opportunity or if someone's looking to escape a horrific part in the world and start anew, then I feel like I would want them to be able to go anywhere and start new. But at the same time, if a country has to sustain too many people and the people aren't integrating well or assimilating well with that country's values and cultures in everything, then it's just too much of a strain on the country. I understand that aspect of it too. And so immigration is a very hard topic for me because I feel like I can see both sides of the argument, which I'm sure most people can.
Not all of them have stayed, but a large proportion have stayed in the hope that they'll be able to return home someday.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look historically, Poland used to be the largest center of the Jewish community in the world. You know, they
Yes,
took in a
knew
large
that.
swathe of people from, that sector of society. We all know what happened later on. And they actually do have a history of Muslim immigration. Um, if you go to medieval times, they would partner with the Tartars, who were kind of, I think, related to like Mongolia or Turkey or something like that. I need to learn my history a bit better there. And a large proportion of that kind of community and their descendants were given rights to stay in Poland and to have their own community here. So Poland is not saying no to immigration, it's saying no to illegal immigration and uncontrolled immigration.
Got you. I understand that. Issues with safety.
As much as this video has talked about the safety of Poland and how I personally think that this is an incredibly safe country, I think it's fair to present, let's say, a balanced view on this. Because no place is completely safe.
Of
So this
course.
portion of the video, we're talking about some of the incidents I've heard about and some of the things you could perhaps watch out for in Poland. So you could say that I can represent a large proportion of the immigrant population in Warsaw. Helping to run Warsaw Global, I know hundreds of people from lots of different countries that live here or study here or just pass by. And I have heard of some instances. Talking about more popular stuff, there was the incident last year in Krakow. I think it was a British man. He went to a gentleman's club and he ended up being drugged and, due to some heart condition, losing his life.
Oh my
I hate
God.
to say, but from personal experience, I can tell you this is not an isolated incident. This is perhaps a little bit embarrassing, but a few years ago now, we had some people from our commercial team coming to visit in Poland, and they decided to go to a gentleman's club here in Warsaw, and I foolishly joined them. And as well as paying extortionate amounts for alcohol in there, they plied you with lots of free shots. And I'm pretty sure these shots were either laced with something or I don't know. All I can say, I definitely felt drugged and I was ill for many days after. So be wary about gentlemen's clubs in Poland. There is definitely some
Yeah.
old traditions there.
I don't like that. So it's at the Gentleman's Club. Y'all hit me in the comment section. Have you guys ever experienced this, or do you guys know anyone who's ever experienced like kind of feeling like they were drugged in these Gentlemen's Club? Because that's something that's very scary. Especially if it's not an isolated incident. It is only happening to like foreigners that come in, or I'm not sure what exactly is going on, but yeah, I don't like the sound of that one.
Which make them unsafe in my view. Now, through friends of mine and friends of friends, I've also heard about a few instances in Warsaw specifically. So there is a slight danger with Uber, perhaps, and certain companies. Um, I have heard of incidences of women being raped, taken off to far-off locations. This is
Oh
perhaps from a
my
foreign element. It's hard
god.
to say. I don't know the full details, but certainly taking Uber a lot on your own in the city is a slight danger. Even my girlfriend the other night felt that the driver was being creepy and a bit too forward. So there are some instances there. I had a friend who was physically assaulted, and this was
Jeez.
actually on a metro, which is scary because it's one of the most populated areas you would find in the city.
Yeah.
He was beaten by two men. He
Oh
didn't know
my
what they were doing
god.
or what they were saying because they were speaking in Polish. And given the guy, he's like one of the quietest guys, I'm pretty sure he did absolutely nothing to provoke this. And he was attacked because of the color of his skin. There was
Wow.
an incident in
I guess
Płocka.
it just like kind of goes to show you like no matter how safe a place is, no matter the statistics, right? Crime still exists and bad people still exist everywhere. No matter what, like there's gonna be some bad people that exist literally everywhere in the world. So no matter how safe your country is, and while it's safer than most countries, which this is at least less likely to happen to you than in many other countries, at the end of the day, crime still does exist.
Metro, I think last week, where again a man was beaten, I don't know if to death, but it sounds like it from the reports, by kind
Man.
of Polish nationalists. So there is that ugly side of nationalism that is present in this country. And if you're not fair-skinned, or if they catch you speaking the wrong language at the wrong time, there can be a danger there. I will
God
highlight that these
dang.
incidents are very isolated, and it's not what I would say something to be expected. But as I say, no place is completely safe,
Exactly.
and you do have to be careful.
I feel that. My personal views of you.
I wanted to finish the video with, let's say, my personal take on safety in Poland. Having lived here for 7 years now, having been to, you could say, a large proportion of places in this country, both big cities and small villages, out in the nature. I don't know, I've covered a lot on this channel, and I do encourage you to check out my videos. But okay, so to talk about my politics very slightly, I would say I'm very central. So I
Okay.
believe in certain things from the left, certain things from the right. I don't believe either
Understandable.
side is 100% correct, but I think
Agreed.
there is some
Definitely
balance to
agree.
be had in the middle. And I can say that personally, I have never been the victim of crime in this country. I have always felt 100% safe. There was one video I watched when I was doing my research for this, and they were saying that safety is kind of that gut feeling that you have. And very soon after moving here, I had that feeling that I wasn't in danger. In the UK, I can say quite the opposite. I encountered problems with gangs of teenagers, and this was in Oxford. I encountered people from other nationalities and gangs who decided to be aggressive when there was no need to be aggressive. And I never really truly felt safe in the UK. Like, I didn't feel like I was, in constant danger, but I didn't feel happy there. And certainly I didn't feel that comfortable at night on my own. And this is a guy speaking.
Yes.
I'm not saying Poland is a perfect place, but then there is no place in the world that you could say is a perfect place.
No.
I think the majority of people here feel safe and are safe. I'd say there is perhaps a slight issue with one spectrum of like nationalism, which goes too far. There is a drive in this country to protect this country, and sometimes the people that are exercising that target the wrong people. They shouldn't be targeting anyone, really, because that's the police's job, but
Agreed.
I think there is certainly an element there which needs improvement, but I think is hopefully getting better with time. I think most tourists have never really had an incident. I don't think Poland is a place where you will encounter scams, at least
Thank
certainly not
God.
that I've ever heard of any.
Thank God.
So really, my conclusion is one of the reasons I love living in Poland is the safety here. I think that the majority of people are, very enlightened, very kind and good-natured people, and they certainly have a strong moral ethos.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any concerns about moving to Poland, if you have any concerns about what life could be like here, I want to tell you that you should feel safe. But like anyone, you should take some precautions. So I hope you've managed to stick it to the end of this video, and if you have, thank you very much for watching. I've been a Brit in Poland. Please feel free to check out the other videos on my channel, and I'll be seeing you again soon, covering much more of Poland. Do zobaczenia.
Absolutely awesome. I feel like just listening to him, you got to kind of hear. Definitely, Poland is definitely a safe country, a very safe country. Yet there is no place that is absolutely 100% safe. That crime isn't going to happen. So while Poland is safe, there are still crimes that happen. There are still bad things that happen inside of the country. But the Polish people sound nationalistic, which again I have no problem with. I think you should be proud of where you come from. I think that's awesome, and I feel like with the Poland's history, you guys definitely have reason to be proud because you guys have fought through so much hardship. You guys have fought through so much war. You guys have came back from disappearance. The country of Poland has just had such a tough and hard fought history, yet the people have been so resilient. And it's an incredible thing that they're around, that the country's around, that the people are around. And so, of course, they're going to be very protective of their country, which I completely understand. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the next one. I'll see you guys next time.